Hey guys, Cody Barton here. Welcome to my channel. I want to share with you just something that I'm beginning to take more action on myself, and that this is something that I believe if you're starting to make more money, this is just something important to consider as you're starting to grow your wealth and as you're starting to invest more and more. My question to you as you're watching this is, are you invested in different assets or are you heavily invested in one? Meaning, are you mainly holding most of your wealth, your net worth in cash? Are you holding that in just real estate, just stocks, just crypto, or just one or two different things? And I want to challenge you on this to start thinking a little bit differently about that. Obviously, as you see on my channel, I'm a lot in real estate, but I'm starting to make some adjustments going into this new year because we are at what I think is, close to a top of a real estate market, and real estate is cyclical. So, it may not have some crazy crash. I really don't personally think that's going to happen. But what I am doing is I'm hedging and I'm trying to be smart about where I'm putting some of my money. And while most of my money will stay, or a large chunk of my money and wealth will be in real estate, I'm looking at some alternative investments. And for this video's sake, I'm just going to talk about what are some of the different asset classes. The first asset is precious metals. So that would be gold, silver, things of that nature that you could be investing in. The second one is stocks, equities. So you could obviously be investing in a stock like the Tesla stock or an Apple stock that you can invest in and hope that it grows in value. You could also invest in, it's a hot topic right now, especially cryptocurrencies. And there's a million different types of cryptos that you could be investing in. For myself personally, I primarily just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum because I think the long-term value makes sense there. Another asset is cash. Yes, in the last year and a half, we've had a lot of inflation because of all the money that's been being printed. But something to keep in mind is when you don't have any cash is kind of like oxygen. When you need it and you don't have it, it's not good. So I do believe in holding some amount of cash. Folks that are saying you should have no money in cash, have all of your money in investments. I don't personally believe that. I think it's a bunch of garbage, because if you need it and you don't have it, then you have a problem. And then you have to liquidate your other investments at probably not top of the market value for your other investments just because you need cash. Another investment you could look at is whole life insurance, where you could be building specifically the right type of policies. You could see a video that I did on that on my channel with my good buddy Ira on whole life insurance policies, where we break down how to actually invest in them, because there's a bunch of garbage ones out there, but we do talk about how to use them to invest. Another investment obviously can be business, meaning your personal business. If you have a business, you're investing, you have cash in your business, you have assets in your business, that's part of your asset allocation is in your business as well. The probably most obvious one for my channel anyways also is real estate, and that could be different types of real estate too. Like I like to hedge with not just having rental properties, but having rentals, having Airbnbs, having fix and flips. There's, multiple different types of investments that are recurring. Another investment class could be commodities like wheat, oil, farming, water, things like that you can also invest in. It's just another way to hedge. Some of the ones that may be a little bit more surprising because they're not as well talked about, but art. You can buy art, famous art, collectible art, and hold on to that art as a storage of value, because as artists pass away, they don't have new pieces coming out, it becomes more valuable, and you could buy old classic pieces that have a storage of value as well. If you have seen on my channel where I do talk about cars, a decent amount, cars can also be an investment. Most cars are not an investment, but things like classic antique cars or specialty edition, newer exotic type vehicles can also be an investment or a store of value as well. Another not as commonly thought about investment is jewelry. Now, any jewelry, no. There's a lot of jewelry that does depreciate, but specialty watches, for example, certain Rolex models that there's limited edition, certain demand that's always going to be held for certain watches. So that could be a type of investment or a storage of value. If you've been watching watch prices over these last couple of years, as inflation has went up, there's some watches, quite a lot of watches actually have went up in value, but only certain ones. Something else that you can have your money in as well is private equity. equity. So investing in other people's companies, not buying stocks, but talking to somebody that has maybe a small business or a growing business, and you invest to get a percentage or a portion of their company, and you're able to now own a piece of that as your investment. This last one is a little weird. It'll sound a little morbid, but people do invest in this. I don't personally invest in them myself, but life settlements. So what the heck is a life settlement? That's something where, say if you have a whole life insurance policy and you're 65 years old, you've been paying on that for years, and now you're on a fixed income, you don't want to pay for the policy anymore, and you just want to get rid of it. There's actually people that will buy your policy from you and change themselves to the beneficiary so that when you pass away, they get the settlement as the beneficiary. Not something I'm invested in, but again, that is another form of investment. And so as I was going through some of these, some of the questions that you should be, asking yourself is like, okay, well, how many things am I invested in? When I look at my portfolio, I want to have, a decent amount of different investments. Like my personal goal is to have, around 10 different asset classes of investments that I have, percentages of my wealth in, because I don't want to have 100% of my wealth in real estate or 100% of my wealth in cash. Because when you have multiple assets that you have your money in, if there's a dip in the stock market, your other assets might be doing better. If there's a dip in the real estate market, maybe your other assets are doing better. The whole purpose of this is to be able to hedge, and so that when you do take losses on one of your investments, it's not tanking your entire portfolio and your entire net worth, so that hopefully the goal is to have it not affect your lifestyle or your future retirement goals by having it a little bit more diversified. Just things to be thinking about, obviously, as you're looking at the assets that you're investing in. If you want me to go more into detail or, break down the percentages that I do in my specific portfolio, put a comment in the section below. If you got any value from this, make sure to like as well, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.